Hi, this is me post-edit cutting in just to let you know that there are going to be some audio issues at the start of the video. I accidentally had two microphones running. Fortunately, I caught it at about a little after the 15-minute mark, so the audio will improve quite a bit when you get there. This is a very long video, but spoiler alert, it's pretty epic, probably the best game I've ever played against the Automa in Terraforming Mars. So, without further ado, here we go. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Solo Strategic Playthroughs. Once again, I'm playing Terraforming Mars, the Automa. I've made a few changes. This time I'm using the Elysium board, and I've added in Venus Next. So I've got some of that set up here, and again, I'll just kind of go over any rules changes, adjustments, as we play along. So starting up, I am going to be choosing my corporation and preludes. I've dealt 3 corporations, 6 preludes, so I'm going to go through. I've already kind of analyzed everything. I've done mock payment, figuring out, okay, how much is everything going to cost? What can I do in the first generation, possibly the second generation? And so let me go through the choices I made. So I actually did deal, well, I randomly dealt a corporation to Marsbot, and it turned out to be one of the Venus corporations. Then I dealt myself the other 2 Venus corporations and just a random one, and that's actually the one I'm going to choose after I looked at everything. I am going to play a Teractor. Very simple, just any, gives me an Earth tag, all of my Earth cards cost 3 less, and it's got a lot of money, starts with 60. And we'll get into, as you look at my other cards, why I chose this. The ones I did not play, here's one of the Venus Next ones, which lets you start off with 3 Venus Next cards, which would probably be really good. Also lets you manipulate the requirements for the Venus track. But just, again, Teractor just really synergized well with the cards in my opening hand. And then the other one, which I didn't really give that much consideration, was Aphrodite. Specifically, I ruled it out because of the plant production of all things, and you'll see what I mean as I get into my preludes. Of course, playing with Elysium, the milestones and awards change. I think the single most important thing when you're playing against the Automa is to plan well in advance, really from the start, which milestones am I going to go after, how am I going to get them. To a lesser extent, you need to think about the awards, but the milestones are really the key ones. Again, each of these effectively a 10-point turnaround, whether you get it or Marsbot does. So, here is a prelude that is going to immediately qualify me for the generalist milestone, giving me production in everything. So that felt like a no-brainer. It's very expensive. It cost 18. So that's kind of why I was really looking at Teractor, which starts with 60. So that's the first prelude I chose. The second prelude is one of just randomly dealt one of the Venus Next ones. I just dealt all the prelude and prelude two cards together. Happened to get a Venus one, and I do like this one. It's going to let me bump a track twice. There is the potential, if things go well in the first generation, and by well, I really just need to get lucky with one card, I could end up getting both of these heat bumps. So that's the main reason I took that. Also, getting a couple of cards with floaters right off the bat will hopefully let me potentially compete for the floater award. So, gone ahead and chosen that. The preludes I did not choose. Just quickly going through. Some of them are good. It doesn't really matter because these 2 really work towards what I wanted to do. This actually could be pretty useful in this one with this award, getting some early energy production, but I didn't go with it. Titanium's always nice, but I had exactly 1 card in my opening hand. That was titanium, and it wasn't even that good. So, no to that. If I had the right cards for a greener strategy, this is a good kickoff, and especially on a map where I'm trying to, if I were playing the Tharsis map, the base map, where one of the milestones is forest, I would definitely consider that, but it doesn't help me here. And then just straight up money, which would certainly offset the industrial complex, but I do think these 2 initial bumps figure from games I've played before against the Automa, usually you're going to end in 9 or 10 playing with Prelude. So if you say you're going to go through 9 generations, 2 bumps on the track is going to produce you 18, which is almost as much as that. And then on top of that, you get the 2 extra cards and a tag. So I think in the long run, I can do better with that. Not to mention 2 extra terraforming rating. So those are the cards I did not choose. And of course, part of that decision also is looking at the 10 cards I was dealt. So let me run through that and let you know which ones I decided to keep. Okay, so first up, one of 3 Earth tags I was dealt, which is part of the reason I took Teractor. I really hope I can draw Earth tags as we're going through the game, because this is going to make Earth -3, and with the Teractor I've already got in play, all my Earth cards are going to be -6, which makes a card like this free. That's a no-brainer. Then, don't love the -2 victory points, but again, this is only going to cost me 4 to put into play. There's some really nice board spaces, here, let me show you, like over here, where you can draw 3 cards, or getting 3 plants over here, a couple titanium here. So, I mean, I'm definitely going to be targeting that. So this, even though with the minus victory points, it's a lot cheaper, I think it's really going to give me a nice kickstart. So those 3 were kind of what really, the other part that really led me to look at Teractor. Now, this one is interesting. I feel like, initially doesn't do that much, but I am going to be putting plenty of blue and green cards into play. That was also part of my thought here, is going for the milestone where I need 15 blue and green project cards in play. So I'm just going to want to get as much out as possible. This is worth the victory point. Ultimately, and I'm sure it'll pay for itself. So that's one I went ahead. Again, this one is going to be free for me if I play it after the other one. And again, it's going to make plant cards easier to play. Also, potentially gives me 1 step towards this milestone, which isn't one, the Ecologist, which is not really one I'm eyeing, but you never know how the card draw will turn out. So at least I'll have 1 step there. All right, another card I'm looking at, the Natural Preserve. Again, with this board, being able to just plop down tiles anywhere is really nice. Give me some production. It's only going to cost me 7 once I get that other card into play, so I'm going to keep that as well. And the last card I'm going to keep, this hits a couple of areas. The 20 cost, potentially useful for Celebrity, and the 4 heat production. In addition, if I can get the 2 bumps here, plus the 1 from here, that's 7 heat production in the first 2 generations, putting me very close to the Specialist. So that was really tempting, so I'm going to hold on to that as well. I am not taking, so those 7 cards I'm planning on taking. The 3 cards I'm not taking, sure, up the Venus track. It's the only event I drew, so I don't have a great shot at getting Legend. And I don't have any other cards with a Jovian tag. So, not knowing how that's going to turn out, I'm going to let that one go. This one requires 2 lakes, 3 energy for an oxygen bump. Doesn't synergize with anything else I've got right now. So, not going to take that one. And then, livestock. So, not taking that, but I've got my cards. So I start with 60. It's going to cost me 18 for my Prelude, 21 for my cards, leaving me with 21. But I'll set that all up, do my initial money, and then we'll take a look at Marsbots Corporation. All right, so the flow of the game and setup is a little weird in that technically you're supposed to choose your corporation, then Marsbot choose a corporation, then you go through and choose your preludes and your cards. So I just did everything in advance. I guess you could make some adjustments, but really which preludes you take is going to be tied into which corporation you choose. In any event, kind of relevant here, just Celestic, which is one of the Venus Dex ones, where the Marsbot is going to start with 1 floater. which we'll keep track of there. It's separate from the normal resources. And every round before the research phase, it's going to gain another floater. So it is, quickly going to be pushing towards that milestone of 7 floaters. Fortunately, I'm going to get to draw a couple floater cards, so maybe I'll be able to compete with that. We'll have to see how things go. It does have draft priority. It's going to be looking for Venus Next cards. It's going to be looking for floater cards. It's also going to start with the icon here with a bump on the Venus track, which is right off the bat, I believe, going to give it another floater. Yeah. So definitely going to be very tricky to try and get that milestone before MarsBot. We'll have to see how things go. And then just for reference, here's the player version, which again is just very floater centric. It has the ability to give you a floater every turn. So again, you can see how that style is replicated in MarsBot's versions. So there we go. That is that. And I'm actually going to go through, I'll just do things in order. So I get 60 from my corporation. I'm keeping 7 cards. That's going to cost me 21. Then I'll resolve this, which is going to be 1 on every track. The reason, again, I didn't even consider the corporation that has production is because it would basically be a waste. You only increase the things that are below 1. So it's not like I would get that extra bump. So this way, I do get the maximum effectiveness out of it. Everything is +1 on the income track. I've paid for that. I have not paid for that. I will pay for that. That cost 18 that I have to lose. Finally, with the atmospheric enhancers, I'm going to get 2 bumps. It's going to be 2 bumps that I have chosen on the temperature track, and I will get to go first, so I can definitely lock at least one of those down. It's going to give me 2 Terraforming Radium. Then I'm going to draw 2 cards off the deck. With floater tags, I've already gone through and just found the first 2 floater cards available and grabbed those. So I have ended up with the extractor balloons. So it costs 21. It's going to give me a floater. It also 3 floaters when it comes into play. So very expensive, but if I prioritize it, that's 4 floaters right there towards the 7 I need to beat out MarsBot. And then I've got another one, which is cost 11, so a little easier to get into play. Also lets me get a floater. So that's actually really interesting. I mean, between the 2 of these, I could get it basically in 2 turns. I'm not going to play them all in the first turn, most likely, but it definitely is going to change. Like I said, I went ahead and did all these calculations on how things might work out for the first and second generations, just to give a rough idea. And obviously, I don't know what cards I'm going to get in the second generation draft, but when I have a sense of, well, if I spend this much and I produce this much, how much will I have to play the other cards in my hand? This, of course, changes all that, because now I have to take this into account and have a real opportunity to just grab that milestone very quickly. And since that really is, I feel, the name of the game against the Automa, I'm going to have to do some reconfiguring. But before we do that, I have to finish getting set up for the MarsBot. So again, the MarsBot is going to get, we've got the 8 project cards. There are a couple that are different. One changes out for using the Elysium map, and one changes out for using Venus Next. So we'll just kind of show those when they come up, but I'll take one of those at random. I will then take 3 project cards, and then because we're playing with Prelude, an additional 3 project cards for MarsBot. So it's got a total of 7 cards, and then it's also going to shuffle in this card specific to Venus Next. So if you've never played with Venus Next, one of the big things that expansion introduces is the Venus board, which I've kind of got hidden under here. There are 4 other spaces. And so there's another track that you have to get to completion in order to end the game. as well as a couple bonuses, drawing a card and a terraforming range. You hit them. There are 4 colonies, much like these, that are Venus specific. They would be on this card. I can just put them anywhere if they show up. And then it also shows you on here that there's a standard project. You can pay 15 to up the Venus rating. But hey, I've memorized that, so I don't need it in front of me. And I'm not even sure where to put the extra milestone and award, so I've got those over there. But so getting back to this card, so one of the things that happens in Venus Next is at the end of every generation, one of the players, I think the start player, is going to get to choose any one of the 4 tracks and raise it by 1 to no effect. Just kind of helps to move things along to keep the flow of the original game. This card will simulate that. Every other round, it's going to do the Venus track, odd rounds, and then in even rounds, there's guidelines for there on what it's going to choose. So we'll take a closer look. But this is going to get shuffled in. Yeah, so this is going to be a little bit different from regular Venus Next, where that bump happens at the end of the generation. In this case, it's just going to get shuffled in, so it could happen at any time. So got Marsbot with a nice big stack of 8 cards it's going to go through. And yeah, if that comes up first, that could definitely... actually, no, I don't think I will get screwed on this track because the way I'm planning on doing things. I think I'll be okay. All right, so I get to go first. My original plan was just to do a standard project to up this. I think I'll probably still do that, but I do want to take a look and see how these 2 new cards I drew might affect things. All right, so leading things off, I think while I can get the floaters pretty fast, I'm not going to rush it. It occurs to me that just getting to 7 floaters doesn't automatically give the milestone. They also need to take an action that gives a milestone. So I don't want to disrupt the rest of my strategy solely just to focus on floaters. So I'm going to go ahead and do what I was originally planning, at least to start, and then we can kind of see how things play out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get the Earth Office into play. That is going to be free because of my discount. So that's card play number 1. And then card play number 2, I could do the standard project right off the bat to get the 1 jump, but I think I'll get to go again before it hits anything that gives it a temperature track, unless something crazy happens. So I am going to go ahead and play the nuclear zone now, just so that I don't get cut off from the spot I want to go. Normally that would cost me 10. It's just going to cost me 4 because of my -6 discount for Earth tags. So first things first, I am going to place, we are going to blow up this area here, which is going to give me 3 cards, which we'll take a look at in a moment, but let me just finish out the card. I'm also going to get 2 bumps on the heat track, or the temperature track, which is going to give me 2 terraforming rating, and it is going to give me an additional heat production. So that is that. You know what? I think I'll keep my blue cards down here where I can see them better. All right, so then let's see what we got card-wise. Oh, look at that. Another floater generator. So that could be really useful. We'll have to see how things go with that. I'll take a closer look at that later. Here's a very expensive card I won't be playing anytime soon, but that is a pretty good city. Actually, I had that last game. Really like that card, so that'll be nice at some point in the game. And then we've got the aeroscope. Well, another way of getting floaters, although also very expensive. But good to have a lot of options. I have a ton of cards now. Those are my 2 actions. So now let's see if Marsbot can beat me to this spot. So Marsbot has drawn a science tag and a building tag. So let me be very careful about this. Try not to mess these tracks up. We'll do science first, which is going to be a double flump, which is going to give it another floater. It's not taking long at all. All right, then it's going to go up on the building track, which goes to 1 and has no effect there yet. So that's its first card. All right, so now I've got 17 to spend. Of course, my initial plan, which I still think is a good plan, is to bump up the temperature track so I can get that other heat bonus. But let me take a closer look at my new cards and see if that is indeed my best play. All right, so I have changed tracks, what I was going to do. So my original thought when I was drafting and thinking things out is I wanted to be able to get up to this 10, and my best opportunity there looked to be the heat track, which is why, I get the 2 bumps here, plus the one I already had, plus 4. That gets me 7, but the other 3, I'm going to have to get lucky with cards from the deck. However, having drawn the Cloud Tourism, which, in addition to giving me floaters, is going to let me bump my income for every set of Earth and Venus tags. By the time I put this into play, possibly as soon as next turn, I will have 4 Earth tags and 4 Venus tags in play, which will give me a +4 bump on income. I'm already at 1, and I've got other cards that are going to bump it up. So I think I'll be getting to 10 much faster on the Mega Credit check. So the first thing I'm going to do, speaking of Mega Credits and Earth Tags, I'm going to play this for free. I have a -6 discount for Earth Tags, so that is going to give me +2 Mega Credit production, bringing me up to 3. Remember, I got the 1 for my Prelude. So that costs nothing. Obviously, I'm not going to play the Clouds yet because I need to get more. I do have 4 Earth Tags in play. I only have 1 Venus tag right now. So instead, I'm going to go ahead. I was testing it out. I spent it, but I did have, again, I haven't played anything yet other than this for 4, right? So I started with 21. I paid 4 down to 17. So now I have enough money. I will go ahead and play this guy instead, which is going to cost me 11. It's a Venus tag. It lets me start getting my floater production going. So that's going to go in play. That's 2 actions. I will put a counter out just so I don't forget to activate that. But now it is Marsbot's turn. Let's see what they've got. For Marsbot, they're going to start with a power tag, which is going to be a double bump and no other effect yet, and a building tag, which is going to put a lake into play. So now, with lakes, I assume it's going to look for the most symbols, but let's double check on this map. Tiebreakers adjacent to the most ocean tiles on a space with the most bonus actions. So let me move Deep Well Heating out of the way. We do have just 2 spots with double icons on lakes. It's going to grab one of those. So top one odd, bottom one even. That is odd. So it will go ahead and put it here and give Marsbot will give himself his first 2 resources. That's going to bring things back to me. I'm just going to go ahead and give myself a floater, and then I will pass back to Marsbot, who is now going to play a comet. So that's going to be a space tag, which is going to be a double bump. Ooh, 1 away from getting that heat, but I was willing to give it up. Double on the event track. So that is Marsbot. At this point, the one thing I could consider doing is I do have the Psychophiles, which I could get into play now and just start collecting microbe resources. But I think money's going to be pretty tight if I potentially want to be able to get those 2 other Venus cards into play next round. So I'm going to hold off on this, wait till I can play it for free, and which means I'm going to pass because I'm done. So then we're going to finish things off with Marsbot, which still has 5 more cards to go through. First up is going to be a wild tag, which in the case for Marsbot, it treats as a failed action. So I'll double check that rule, but it's just going to get 5 counters. It's also going to get another 1 over here. Before I flip the next card, I'm just going to double check the rules on that. And I'm glad I double checked that because I was wrong. It is not going to get this. It is not going to get the extra floater. That ignoring it has to do with the draft. In this case, it's going to advance its lowest track if tied the top, so that is going to be this track, which is at 0. So it is going to move up. It is going to get a city. It's going to want to place that city next to a lake. Its options are going to be next tiebreaker would be the most spots. So 1, 2, 3. We'll draw a card. That card is a 13. So basically 1. It's going to go in the top spot. It's then going to get 3 resources. 2 for the lake, 1 for the card icon. So that resolves that card. Now, Marsbot's next action, since I've passed, and we got 4 cards left, is going to be an event, and it will play another lake. So, oh, and it did play a lake, so let me not forget to give it a bump here for its second lake. That one's pretty easy. It's going to want to go here, give itself 4 resources. So Marsbot moving very quickly. Another bump on this track. That's it for that. We've still got the special in here as well as the world government. But now it's going to be a triple. All right, so starting with the Jovian tag, it is going to get another city, which it is going to want to be, I think in this case, as many lakes as possible. That is a pretty nice spot for it. So I think it's going to go here, giving itself 2, 4, 6. My goodness. Put down 10, pull 4 away. Marsbot is off to the races on those tokens. Next will be the space track. Ugh. So my luck did not hold up. It's going to get a bump on the heat track. Well, honestly, I don't even know that I was going to be able to do that anytime soon because of the other things I want to do. Instead of the heat gain, it is just going to gain 2 resources, which will go here. And we're not done yet. It's going to move on the bottom track. It's going to be a while before anything else happens on this track. So that card is resolved, leaving us next with government intervention. So again, if it is an even number generation, or if Venus is complete, neither of those things is the case. So otherwise, Marsbot raises Venus 1 step. So Venus is going to go up its first jump. There is no effect for that happening. Nobody gets TR. If it had hit a bonus, nobody would get the bonus. So that is going to get set aside because that'll get shuffled in every round. And last but not least, for Marsbot, it will do overachievement. So Marsbot claims a milestone. This is great that this came out when it did, because it's not there yet. It's only got 3 floaters. So Marsbot claims a milestone if able, then destroys this card. It is very much... Yeah, no, it is very much not able. So this card is just discarded. So we may see that one later, but not until Generation 9 at the earliest. So that means I can really just pay attention to the tracks to see when Marsbot is going to be able to get a milestone. One of the areas definitely that does not simulate playing against a live opponent. You have little opportunities here and there that kind of take the predictability out of it. And that's really where you can focus on the strategy and figure, okay, what are things, what's happened, keeping track of the cards that go through, knowing the cards in the special bonus deck so you can kind of plan in advance for that. It definitely helps out. In any event, that is the end of the first generation. So I'm going to go ahead, do income, deal things out for the draft, and we will keep moving along. All right, so beginning the research phase, a Marsbot is going to gain a floater per its special ability. I've done my income, got a little bit of everything, including 27 mega credit production, which is pretty nice, and hopefully will go up quite a bit this generation. I do have 33, so if I don't keep any cards, I actually have exactly enough to buy both of those other Venus cards. But let's see how it goes. Let's start with the draft. I go first. I've dealt 4 cards. Nothing particularly jumps out at me. My biggest concern is trying to slow play those milestones. So I was kind of looking at the different tracks to see it would most quickly get its milestone with power tags, and all things being equal, I'm going to deny it the double tag. So I'm going to go ahead and draft this away from Marsbot. None of the other ones really jump out at me. Anytime a lake comes in play, get 2 plants. I'm not going to be playing that anytime soon. And already there's 2 lakes in play. Putting lakes in play again, not that good. Drawing cards, I like this card. If it comes back to me, maybe I'll hold on to it, although probably not, because I don't have a lot of money to spend. But in either case, that is my draft. Now for Marsbot, it is looking for Venus tags and Jovian tags. It does not have any of those, so it is going to choose one of these at random. Again, doesn't care that this has more tags. It's just going to choose one at random. So there are 4 cards. I'll reroll 6. Hopefully not too many times. There's a 4. It is going to draft this card. So now we switch. It comes over to me. It didn't get this double tag. I actually like this card too. It's going to be a little while before the oxygen's up. It lowers it on the plant track, which is nice. Some energy production, and it's very cheap. Whether or not I can afford to draft it, again, is a decision I'm going to have to make, but I am going to, or keep it, I should say, but I'm going to go ahead and draft it. So then Marsbot, of course, it's just going to choose one of these at random again, since there are no Jovian or Venus tags. That's a 1, so it will take that. Coming back over to me. Again, I don't really want either of these cards, so it's a question of what do I want to deny it. It can do milestones on the building track, so that is what I will take to hopefully prevent it from doing that. So it'll grab that. Then last but not least, it's going to do one of these at random, so odd, even, odd. Okay, so those are Marsbot's 4 drafted cards. It is then going to remove one of these cards that does not have a Jovian or Venus tag. It's draft priority. And that, of course, is going to be the first one, so it's not going to take that. None of those cards have it. We're going to shuffle this into the deck, as well as the next card from its special bonus deck. So, also, I'm noticing now that I put the token on there. I never actually put the floater. So, let me mark the floater that I got and take this off, so that I can do the action again this generation. Also, it is generation 2. So, yep, there should be 5 cards in the deck this time. So, that's that. And so then I just need to decide if I want to keep any of these. Definitely not these 2. Definitely not the giant space mirror. It's really just a question if I would want to keep this. But I'm currently at 33 mega credits. I believe it's going to take me 32 if I want to play my 2 Venus cards, which will also be a huge boost to my income. So I think that is definitely the way to go for this round. So I'm not going to draft anything. We are going to begin with Marsbot is going to take the first action here in Generation 2, and that is going to be a city tag and a building tag. So the city tag, nothing happens on this spot. The building tag, nothing happens here. Ooh, and I'm noticing the building tag, next building jump is going to jump energy. So it's going to get to that milestone pretty fast if I don't deny it energy cards. Or energy tags, power tags, I should say. In any case, that is the underground city. So now it is my opportunity, and I think at this point, I mean, I will at this point kind of slow play just to see what Marsbot is going to do. So I'll go ahead and I will activate the... Actually, no, I will not, because this is any card. So it's really a question of where do I want to put that? Because now I've got all these different cards. Cloud Tourist gives floaters to itself, which are just worth victory points. And the Extractor Balloon is going to let me use floaters to up the Venus track, which is definitely very good. So I think that's where I'm going to go first. I'm going to spend 21 to get the, here, let's show that again. 21 to get that into play, which will let me get that floater engine going. So, that is my first action. That's all I'm going to do so far. So now I'm going to go ahead and see what MarsBot has. It is corporate competition. So if MarsBot has at least 5 mega credits, resolve the closest funded awards action. Leftmost is tied. None of them are funded. Otherwise, it draws and resolves another bonus card. Interesting. So yeah, it's going to speed through the bonus deck a little bit faster. Okay, so research and development, it's just going to do a project card. Well, this could be problematic. Having no control over this with the draft, it is just going to do a space tag and an event tag. The space tag is no effect. The event tag is going to put a forest into play. So again, double checking. Forest is going to be adjacent to the most of its own cities, and as was pointed out to me, and the fewest of mine in my last playthrough. So it is paying attention, if I had cities in play, where they are. Tiebreaker is going to be most ocean tiles, so even though it could go here and get the triple, that is the first, before that it's looking at ocean tiles, it can go here and hit 2 ocean tiles. So playing the forest is going to give it a bump of oxygen and a TR, and then it's going to get 2, 4, 5 resources. So 10 traded out for a 5. It is really fine on that. And that was, yes, that was the event tag portion of it. So that is done. All right, back to me. Now I can go ahead, and when this came in play, I should have gotten 3 floaters to this card. So let me just pop those into play. And then for my action, I will go ahead and I will activate the dirigibles to put a 4th floater over here. That's my action. So now back to MarsBot, who is going to resolve a plant tag. Nothing too exciting. It just goes up 1, and that's that. Back to me. Again, in a good position to slow play. I will activate the extractor balloons. I am definitely not spending my floaters yet because I want to get up to that 7. Right now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going to get me up to 6. And that is my action. So we'll go back to MarsBot. Again, slow playing so I can see what it does. It's a space tag, which is going to be another lake. This is very different from last game where I started with a whole bunch of stuff on the board. Thanks to a Prelude card, I actually had a forest, a city, and a lake at the start and was just putting things out left and right. I should probably put the correct, should not give myself that forest. All right, so MarsBot placing a lake, cannot place adjacent to a lake, so it's looking at the most symbols. There's a bunch of spots with just 1 symbol, so we will draw a tiebreaker card, which is number 1. So top left, it's going to be here. It is going to get 1 resource for that, and it is going to give itself a bump on the terraforming rating. Okay, so that was MarsBot. And then back to me again. I will now spend 11 for cloud tourism. And let me pay for that, leaving me with a whopping 1 mega credit. All right, so this, again, cloud tourism, showing you again, is, in addition to being able to put floaters on itself, it is going to give me 1 production mega credit for every pair of Venus and Earth tags I have. So as you can see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Venus tags, 1, 2, 3, 4 Earth tags. Second turn, getting 4 production. That seems pretty amazing. That's going to bump me up to 7 on the Mega Credit track. Just need 3 more to be able to claim Specialist. I can already claim Generalist. And it is now my action, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, actually that was my first action, but I'll go ahead and take my second. I will activate Cloud Tourism, which will give me a floater here. I now have 7 floaters. I am now in a position to fund all 3 milestones. There's a pretty good chance that that is all I'm going to be doing next round. I'll have enough income to do it, but you know, we'll see how the draft goes. But what a load off to not have to worry about that, and then I can start spending my floaters and all that. Actually, never mind. I can only fund 2 of them. I'm only at 7 here. But so either way, a really good position, and then I just need to push to get that Specialist most likely. Was thinking it might be Tycoon, but I definitely think there's a better chance that Specialist will happen first. We'll see how it goes. Let's go to Marsbot's final card, which is going to be the Government Intervention. Now, in this case, it is an even numbered round, so it's going to do the track farthest from completion. Or if... actually, no, it's going to be Oxygen 1 step. Places an ocean, or raises temperature, whichever is farthest. So yes, so temperature is probably going to be the one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 away. I don't know, actually. Well, yeah, this is 13 away from completion, and Lakes is closer. So it will go ahead, do a heat bump, give itself another terraforming rating, and back to me. I have 1 to spend. I've activated all my stuff, so... and yes, definitely good that I did not spend the 2 to play this, because I would not have been able to afford all this. Much as I'd like to have that into play, it's just going to have to wait. So that is the end of Generation. Once again, income and upkeep and all that, and then we'll get ready for Generation 3. All right, so we're ready for the draft. We're Generation 3. I did income. I got 31. I went ahead, beginning of the research phase, gave Venus their next Mega Credit. I'm actually in this situation, in terms of probably the thing I have to be most concerned about with it getting its milestone. I get to go first, so I'm going to be able to grab 2 milestones. The question is, can I get to Generalist, or potentially even this one, before it gets there? Right now, it's going to be the Legend track. That's going to be the 5 events played, which is just 5 on this track. That is going to be my biggest competition. So if I'm looking at anything in not sending cards Marsbot's way, it's going to be events. But I'm also going to consider for myself. So, I mean, here's a card with 3 tracks, which is actually the heat production would be pretty nice. There's 2 cards here I really like. I also like this for the mining track. So, especially, it's nice and cheap. Basically only cost me 1 plus the draft cost to play. And I am going to be able to need to produce stuff. I have the requisites to get into play already. But letting a triple go to Marsbot just seems like a really bad idea. So I'm going to go ahead and draft this and hope I get lucky with a shot at the other one. As for Marsbot, okay, so I'm not seeing any Venus or Jovian tags, so it's going to just choose one at randomly, hopefully not that one. But let's shuffle up and see what happens. There's always a chance it discards it anyway. For 6 is going to be a reroll. I keep doing that. I have a 4-sided die somewhere here. I should probably grab that. That's a 2, so I don't even know what it took, but I'll quickly look and see it did not take that, so no question that that's the one I'm going to take. I don't even know what the other cards do. Doesn't matter. I'm not letting Marsbot have a triple like that. Now, I kind of jumped the gun. Well, no. Yeah, Marsbot here. Doesn't see any of the tags it wants. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2. Excellent. That means I'm going to be able to head and go and draft the card I really wanted, which is this is going to go back to Marsbot. Over here, well, let's see. Magnetic field dome, not particularly useful. Magnetic field generation, probably not going to keep either, but if there were any we're going to put into play, it would be more likely to be this one. From Marsbot standpoint, 6 and 1/2 dozen, they do the same thing. So now the question is, what do I want to keep? And in order to figure that out, I do need to take a look at what I might do this round, because I haven't actually given it a lot of thought. I was so in a rush to get these out, so let's see what my options are. Okay, so I realize one little mistake I made here. This card should not be in the mix. It was one of the, I had it mixed in with the Venus stuff, but it's also uses colonies. But, I'm not going to go back and change anything. I'm just not going to draft it because it ain't that good if I don't get the colony. Obviously, I definitely want to keep this for that production. And then the imported, here we go, this guy. Realize this is an Earth tag. It only cost me 1, so I'd be kind of crazy not to take this. So I'll keep those 2. I'm not going to keep the other 2. Again, that's nice, but much later in the game. So I do want to be able to play stuff. So I'm just going to spend 6 to keep these 2 cards. Add those to my hand. Then for Marsbot, one of these cards is going to be removed. And it is going to be, a double tag. That was fortunate. Then it's going to shuffle this in, as well as the next card from this deck. So that is Marsbot. And I think, first and foremost, no reason to mess around. I think I'm going to go ahead and spend, there's 10, so I should get 2 back. I'm going to go ahead and spend 8 to claim a milestone. I do have 7 floaters, so I'm all set there. I could immediately claim another one, but let me see what Marsbot is going to do before I commit to that. Also, I think I have my money off. So that's 6, 16, 17, 18. Oh, no, maybe not. I spent 8, 26. Yeah. Nope, that works out. I did have 32. Okay, so next up, Marsbot is going to go ahead and nothing. So it is going to get a floater. And 5 up here, as that is no action. I'll have to double check when Venus, I believe it's during the draft phase. Now that I've claimed this, Venus will go ahead and spend 5 floaters to keep all 4 of its cards. But that is Marsbot's turn. I'll go ahead and play the imported GHD. It's just going to cost me 1, so we'll do that. That's going to give me a heat production and 3 heat, which also is going to put me in position to bump the temperature. But we'll just do that 1 action and see what Marsbot has going next. All right, the local neural instance, and I'm not sure where I put that tile, so let me track that down, and I'll also figure out where it might want to go, making sure we factor in all the tiebreakers. All right, so there's the neural instance, the local neural instance. I'm actually not sure what I do with my tile. Feeling like I need to 3D print a nice one. But since I don't have that right now, I'm just going to play a forest tile upside down. It is looking for a place that is completely surrounded with available spaces and has the most bonus icons. So I believe it's just got those 2 choices. So odd, even. It is odd, so it's going to go ahead and go here. Honestly, I'd rather it go up there. although it probably is going to start surrounding itself. But that was Marsbot's action. That is going to be removed from the game. And now I will... Don't need to keep my floaters anymore, so... But I do kind of still want to slow play a bit, so I'll go ahead and just put another floater here. Nothing too exciting. Back to Marsbot, which is now going to... it is going to bump up the Venus track, which is over here, so that's going to go to 4. Because it is an odd round. Only in the even rounds does it look at the other tracks, or if that's complete. So that is going to set aside here, and now it is my turn. And so the question is, I don't want to activate this yet, because if there's another bump on the Venus track, so it's really then a question of, yeah, I do want to get mining quota into play, so no brainer to play it now. It costs 5, but I'll just spend 2 steel and one of these to get a 2-point bump on my mining production. And just stick with the 1 action. We'll let Marsbot go again. It's a plant tag, so it is starting to get closer to this milestone. All right. Back to me. I think I will just, much as I'd like to get stuff into play, I don't want to mess around too much. I do think, let's see, that would cost me 9 to play. 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 16. I do have cards I could sell if need be. So yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead now, get this taken care of. I'm going to spend 8, and I'm going to go ahead and claim the Generalist milestone. So far so good. Got 2 milestones. Back to Marsbot for their final card, which is a building tag, which is going to bump the energy track, which is going to be 3 up here. All right, so now, let's see, I do have 8 to spend. Question whether or not I want to get this card into play right now. This card being the Natural Preserve, which would get me 1 step closer towards a couple different milestones, both the Tycoon and the Specialist. But I'm just going to take a quick moment to review my options. Okay, so I do want to get the Natural Preserve into play. I have 8, it costs 9, so I'm going to need to discard a card or sell off a card. I think I'm going to go ahead and sell off Mohol area, since I'm no longer really pushing for the heat production. So standard project, sell that for 1, and then it'll cost me 9 to play the Natural Preserve. So I got 8 here plus the 1 from the sale. That is all of my mega credits, and that will enable me to put this into play. Max oxygen 4%, so I can still do that. I do get to place this in a place touching no other tile, so I think I will go down here, keeping in mind the Desert Settler. We're going to want stuff down here, so that will give me 2 steel, and it will give me another bump on the income track, getting me up to 8, so I'm pretty close to Specialist. Not so close. I got 8 cards in play for Tycoon, so not quite there on that. Now I will go ahead and activate this, spending 2 floaters to raise the Venus track, which goes up to 6%, which is going to give me a terraforming jump. And I think wanting to be able to keep doing that for a while, While it's nice to be able to spend Venus, the floaters on here for 3, I think this is going to be a bigger bang for my buck. So I'll go ahead and put another floater on there. And that, I believe, is going to do it for Generation 3. Actually, I started production. I had stepped away from the table for a while and realized I forgot to raise the heat. I did have exactly 8 available, so I'll go up to negative 16 degrees, give myself another bump on the Terraforming Rain track, which is going to give me 1 more mega credit production. All right, otherwise I've gone ahead and done that, so we'll remove all these tokens. We are on Generation 4, and we are dealing out 4 cards to each. All right, so taking a look at my stack, we have the Aerosport Tournament, which is interesting. I need to have 5 floaters in play, which I do, and that's going to give me 1 mega credit for every city, which is not that great, but it is worth a victory point. Got the GHG import from Venus, which is a lot of heat generation. It's got a Venus tag, so I can get a little cheaper there. Now this I like, the Miranda Resort. This is exactly what I'm looking for. That's going to give me 1 for every Earth tag. That's going to put me over 10, get me to that magic number for Specialist. So, I mean, that's the card I'm going to take. We'll just look at the other. We got Maxwell Base, which is a bunch of stuff. 12% Venus. We're not there yet. Although there's definitely some good stuff in here that Marsbot is going to want, the Miranda Resort is definitely the way to go if I want to try and nail down that 3rd milestone. On Marsbot's side, it does have a Venus tag, a bunch of symbols, so it's going to draft that. The rest are going to come back to me. Birds, don't care about that. Luna Metropolis, Earth tag, so it's going to cost me more huge income. Also, business contracts, but man, yeah. We're going to go with Luna Metropolis. Too bad I don't have the banker award in this game. But we'll take Luna Metropolis. That's going to be drafted. Coming back over here. So that was for me. So Marsbot is got 2 Venus tags to choose from. Tiebreaker would be Jovian tags. Doesn't have any, so odd, even. It's going to go with this one. Of course it is. So then it's going to come back over to me. So I'll draft this other one to keep Marsbot from getting it. Marsbot will get that. Then from here, Marsbot will do odd, even. Unfortunately, it grabbed business contacts for me. That would have been nice. I have instead the worthless birds. Okay. Now I just need to decide what I want to keep. From here, definitely not birds. The Maxwell base. It's interesting. It's a Venus card, so let's take another look at that. Not sure. Luna Metropolis, definitely. Miranda Resort, definitely. I'll take a quick sec to look over to see if this is worth keeping. I do like the base. It's a lot of victory points. However, I think I'm in a position I could potentially play both of these cards this turn, which would be a huge boost to my income, which is really going to set me up moving forward. So I'm just going to keep these 2. That's going to cost me 6. So let's pull 11 off, put 5 back. From Marsbot's standpoint, it is going to get rid of one of these cards that does not have a Venus or Jovian tag. Starting with that. No, it's going to keep that. It's going to keep that. It's got a lot of stuff coming in this round. Alright, so it is going to discard that. So it has these 3. Grab this and one of these. Shuffle up. And unfortunately, Marsbot is going to go first. So much as I would like to very quickly grab that Specialist, I'm going to have to see what Marsbot has going first. So we got our 5 cards, as we should. Actually, take that back. It is actually going to keep this. It's going to spend 5 floaters. So Marsbot actually has a bunch of stuff going on this round. All right. So for Marsbot, we'll begin with a whole bunch of tags. Let's see. We're going to start moving on the Venus track, which is going to be 2 floaters. Oh boy. It's going to do a single bump on the power track, and then a single bump on the space track, which is going to put a city into play. So in terms of where it's going to want to put that city, it is going to be first next to greeneries, and then lakes, and it gets the trifecta of putting it next to its knurl. Whatever that thing, I always forget what it's called. So it is going to go here, and it's going to get 4 resources for that. All right, so Marsbot is done. Fortunately, has left the award available for me, so that is going to be the priority. So I'm going to go ahead and play this guy, which would normally cost me 21, but it's Earth, so it's only going to cost me 15. I'm going to spend 3 titanium for 9, knocking that down to 6 remaining. So I'll spend 6 mega credits. I will put this guy into play. I am going to gain 1 production for every Earth tag, which I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at this point. By the way, I did not take birds. So that's going to give me 5 production on this track, which is going to be quite good, going from 8 to 13. All right. I now have achieved Specialist, so I'll use my second action and pay 8 to claim my 3rd milestone. So that is, I've got all 3 milestones. So really, at this point, the next thing for me to really be thinking about is awards. And what do I have to fund? What might Marsbot funds? But we're still early, Generation 4. So let's see how things are going to play out as Marsbot goes. It is going to start with the Earth track, which is here, which at the moment does nothing. Then on the event track is a double bump, and yet 2 more floaters. And why do I get the sense that very often it's going to be triggering this annoying ability to keep an extra card? That is going to be a challenge. All right. I think the Venus track is at a point where I want to be able to get the bonus. So let me go ahead and activate this, spending 2 floaters to bump the Venus track, which is going to give me a bump here. And I am going to get to draw a card, which is going to be an underground detonation. Upping heat production doesn't really benefit me that much in this scenario. Speaking of heat, I never actually generated my heat. I kind of got caught in the middle. I transferred over my 2 extra. I guess I transferred that over, but I didn't generate 3 heat. So I believe I should have 5. In any event, that goes in my hand. That was just 1 action, but at this point, none of the tracks are anywhere near. There's not a board spot. Technically, there is a city in play. The reserve spot is on this board, so I'm just going to throw it up here for now. And Marsbot is going to go. It is going to do government intervention. We're in an even round, so we are 13 away from the end of this track, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 away from the end of this track, so it is going to raise the oxygen 1 step, and to no benefit. So that's that. Back to me. Again, I'll just go ahead and throw a floater on here and let Marsbot go next. All right, invasive species, animals, microbes. I don't have any. If you're playing with Venus next, or gains 2 mega credits and a floater. So there's that card. So yet another floater and 2 mega credits. Okay, that is it for that action from Marsbot. That is just discarded, not removed from the game. I think I'll keep this going. Go ahead, put a token here, another floater, and I will let Marsbot go again. This time, just on the event track, that's a double bounce for a lake. So Marsbot is going to place a lake. It's going to place it adjacent to another lake and over a bonus. So it's going to get 3 for that. Go to 5 and take 2 back. And then it is going to gain a bump on the terraforming rating. Back to me. I have 14, so I can certainly afford to play the Miranda Resort, which I think is definitely going to be a good thing. Here is the Miranda Resort. So it's just going to cost straight up 14. I've already spent 12, sorry. I've already spent all of my titanium, but I do have the 12 to put that into play. And that is going to give me 1 production for every earth tag. I should be up to 6 now. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, still just at 5, because that one itself does not have an earth tag. But that is 5 production, which goes from 12 to, actually it should have been 13 to 18. Wow. Okay. Once again, back to Marsbot. Yeah, it's doing a bunch of stuff. The Venus track is going to advance Venus. It will gain a bump for that. The space track is going to advance Venus again. You get another bump for that. And then the event track is going to give it 3 here. 1, 2, 3. So as always, I have my work cut out for me to keep pace with Marsbot. At this point, I actually do have a bunch of steel. Could play the underground detonation. Don't really want to. The field cap city costs 29. I would like to get that into play, but not yet. So, pretty sure. I guess the question now is, do I want to play Psychophiles? Just to start. I mean, at some point, I'm going to play a card with a plant tag. So, and I just don't know if I'm going to play this cutting edge technology anytime soon. Again, that was the one that makes stuff with requirements cheaper. I still have a lot of other stuff that I'd rather get into play. And it becomes 6 1/2 dozen, because if I play, certainly have the resources. If I play this now, I'm getting to put a counter on it, which is effectively going to be 2 back. So yeah, I think it's probably worth just playing this now, get it out of my hand. Cost me 2, and then I'll use an action to put a microbe on it, and that should do it for the generation. Okay, so there is one more thing I'm going to do this generation, which is I'm going to spend 8 heat to raise the temperature, get 1 more bump on the terraforming rating. And now I am done with the round, so I will go ahead and do income and get ready for generation 5. Okay, so beginning of generation 5, and at this point, I just generated 46 plus 3 steel plus the titanium, so we got really good. Okay, so we are now ready for the beginning of the 5th generation. I've done my income. I'm making 46 now, plus 3 steel, titanium, a lot of good production. I went ahead, I did give another floater to Venus, or sorry, to the Marsbot, and we are in generation 5. So, kicking off with the draft, in my pile, We have Ice Asteroid, which could be pretty good. Grab a couple lakes, kind of get on the board there. Also, I think the other thing, I'm going to just go through the cards. That's probably the one I'd favor the most. Lichen, pretty good. Wouldn't mind more plant production. Then we've got some terraforming rating production, and then, oh, it's my favorite, Search for Life. And by favorite, I mean not at all, because I have never managed to hit that. But those are the cards in my draft pile. I think I am going to go ahead and take the Ice Asteroid just to keep the double away from Marsbot. And at this point, I'm also starting to think about, on a couple of these tracks, Marsbot is getting, in fact, it's one away on the event track, of getting an award and funding an award. So at this point, I've taken an opportunity to kind of calculate out. On Celebrity, Marsbot is currently at 3. I'm at 2, so it's ahead by 1. Then Industrialist, we're actually tied there, 9 apiece. Then we've got the Desert Settler. That's just the bottom 4 rows. I'm up 1-0 at this point. For the Estate Dealer, that's Touching Lakes, he's got 4. I've got 0. On the Benefactor, you can see right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then last but not least, the Venus tags, where I believe I have 4 and he's on 3. So right now, if Marsbot were to fund an award, it would be the terraforming rating, which is probably the least likely thing that I could catch up on. So I may be looking at using my first action to either maybe spend off my first couple actions to either spend off some of this, because I could be in a position to stockpile steel later on and maybe get my energy production up. And so if that's being the case, if Marsbot goes ahead and funds that award, that would be great. So I drafted this. Marsbot, looking in their pile, they do have a Venus card, which also has a microbe tag. So neither of those, just kind of mentally keep track. That's not going to get the award going right away. But that will be Marsbot's first draft, giving me... this is a card I like, because I'm actually sitting on a card in my hand that requires 3 science tags. And this would get me there. I'd be also able to draw a couple cards. And it's a double science. Here's just a single science tag in there. Whatever, not that interested in that right now. And that's the other card in the pile, which also, again, not that interested in. Now, a space tag would get him... Well, that's a milestone, not an award. So yeah, I think I'll go ahead and I'll hold on to that. And again, it's a double icon, so we'll keep that out. These will go over to Marsbot. But first, Marsbot from here. Again, no Venus or Jovian tags, so I'm going to choose one at random. And it's not going to be an event. So, as per usual, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4. These will come back to me. And from here, do I take Search for Life? No, I'll take the Lichen. So, and maybe we will keep that. I guess the only question is, do I want to give it another science tag? Sure. I may not keep it anyway. From here, Marsbot is going to randomly draft even, which means that goes to me. So then I need to decide. Definitely not going to keep that. I mean, I think I'm probably going to keep all 3. I've got really good money production at this point. So yeah, I don't think I have to do too much calculating. I don't have any significant... I mean, I have plenty to spend. I've got that 8 steel, so that's 16 right there. So I think I will go ahead and just keep all 3 and not overthink it too much. Now, for Marsbot, we know they're going to keep that. That's the Venus card I put down. So they're going to discard a space tag. All right, this will get shuffled into the mix along with one of the bonus cards. I've seen some comments in like watching other videos people have done online saying, "Oh, well, I'm not going to draft because it's a lot of overhead." It's really not. I'm taking a little bit of time to explain it, but the actual draft process goes very quickly. I highly recommend it. It really adds to the strategic fullness of the game, especially when you're playing against a corporation where they have draft priority. And actually, I discarded that card. I should not have. So it's going to spend 5 floaters to keep that card. Okay. So now it is my opportunity to go. None of these are activated yet. And again, I didn't put any events in there, and I actually don't think Marsbot can draw on it. It's not going to fund an award. We've already gone through that, and we've already gone through the one where it draws off the deck. So I actually am pretty sure that I do not have to rush things. But I'm going to double check the board, make sure it's not in striking range of an award somewhere else, and then look over and figure out how I want to do this. All right, so leading off, I think I do want to go ahead and get this guy into play, the field-capped city. So that is going to cost me 29, so I'm going to spend all of my steel, so that's 16, and then it's going to cost me an additional 13, so we'll spend 15 from here, get 2 back. That is going to let me get a city, which, so that is going to let me get a city, and I think what I'm going to do in this case is I'm actually going to put it, I'm going to kind of really focus on this desert settler. So I'm going to go here, which is also going to give me a titanium, which is going to be helpful this turn. And now I'm up ahead 2. More importantly, I've dumped all my steel, so if somehow he does get an award, then it right now would actually be the industrialist, which would be great because I'm +1 production here. I'm now up to 20 production on that track, and I also get 3 plants, which is going to put me in position to get a greenery tile. That was my first action. I think just in case, while it only costs me 8, I am going to go ahead and fund an award. And as I said, it is going to be the Desert Settler. And now, as far as the other 2, I'd like to see if I can kind of rig things right and maybe push the Marsbot going in a certain direction. Although, I guess from here, it would then, we'll have to see if I can drive up the terraforming rating. I may not have to fund another award. I may be able to manipulate things so that Marsbot is funding awards that I feel pretty good about catching up on. But we'll see. That's 2 actions. So we're going to go ahead and do Marsbot's first turn, which is going to be the government intervention. So it is an odd, so this could not have gone better. It is going to move up 1 on the Venus track, which is going to give it 1 away from the bonus. This will go here for next round, so that makes my next action very easy. I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 from the extractor balloons, and to raise Venus 1 step, which the act of doing that is going to give me a terraforming rating, and then the bonus is going to give me another TR rating. I guess that's redundant, just TR. All right, and okay, so actually, now that I think about it, I do want to take a look here. Looking at the events, we've seen invasive species, research and development, corporate competition, overachievement. We put this into play. There's actually a really good chance of the meteor, which will destroy plants. So just kind of, again, knowing what's in the deck, what you might be running into, no reason to wait, take any chances. So I will go ahead, I will spend my 8 plants while I still have them, and I will claim a city, and I will go ahead and go down here, give my, do do I actually want the extra right now? That's interesting. Yeah, because I don't want to get too close in terms of having too much steel, which I don't plan on spending this round. So I'll go ahead and go here for now and just give myself 1 steel. And then I will bump up the oxygen. I will bump up my terraforming rating. At this point, I am at least narrowing the gap on Benefactor, making that less likely for Marsbot to take. Just my experience, very hard to keep up with Marsbot on TR rating, because as it goes up these tracks, it's going to start doing some pretty big jumps. But those are my 2 actions. So now let's see what Marsbot has. And it is Meteor Shower. So it would destroy my plants, but I don't have any. So this card may come back later. There is no other benefit. So that was very fortunate that I was able to have the actions to work that through. Coming back to me, I'm pretty sure now I can safely slow play. So I will just go ahead, put another floater over here, and let Marsbot take its turn. All right, a building tag is not going to lead to anything just yet. And then it is going to be my turn. Again, just taking it slowly. I will get Microbon here, back to Marsbot. All right, first on the Venus track, which is going to be 2 more floaters, which means, once again, Marsbot is going to be keeping an extra card. And then it is going to advance on the microbe track, which is going to be a greenery. So let's see. Where is he looking to go? Next to a city, and then tiebreaker is next to lakes. So I think that is going to be down here, which unfortunately is also going to be down in this lower area. I guess technically he could go here or here. So we'll say odd, even. It's even. So it's going to go ahead and go here, gaining a bump, and 3 resources. So put 10 down, take 7 back. All right, well, that was good for Marsbot, not great for me, but I am up 3-1 on that. So, all right, now, trying to think. No, it would definitely be to my benefit if Marsbot played a lake before me. So, because I am sitting on the ice asteroid, which I do plan on playing this round, which will let me get 2 lakes, but there's no reason to do that just yet. So continuing to slow play, I'll go ahead and put another floater here. And let's see what you got. Marsbot is a space tag. Okay. So, and I did not resolve. Did I resolve? Yes, I did resolve everything on that card. The space tag is, it is going to attempt to fund a milestone. It can't, so it's just going to get 5 there, and I believe it will also get a floater. Pretty sure it's just the 1, but let's double check. Merchant failed actions give Marsbot 1 floater. Yes, in addition to the mega credits. Okay, so I will just go ahead. I'll play the ice asteroid for a cost of 23. So 9 steel. Then I'm going to need 14 from over here. That doesn't help me with celebrity. It would for Marsbot is going to count every card that's 20 or more, event or otherwise. I only have the ones in play, so 1, 2 at the moment. No, 3. So I think we're tied, but I get to play 2 lakes for that. It's going to give me 2 bumps on this track, so I'll put the first one here. I'm not give away an opportunity to get an extra steel. Also going to gain 2 mega credits. My second one then will go here, which will give me 4. And back to Marsbot, who has a science tag. So that is going to give Marsbot another city. Nope, that is not the science track. Who knows if I've messed this up. Find out later, but Marsbot is instead going to get 2 more floaters. Okay, as Marsbot searches for life. So, not a city, floaters. So we're done with that. Back to me. I do now have 8, which means I have enough to play this guy. And it occurred to me I actually have more than that because I could spend these. Alright, so let's see. Cost me 7. Is there any benefit to leaving these on here? Probably not. So I'll just go ahead and spend them for 4, 5, 6, 7. Temperature has to be negative 24 or above. That's no problem. And that is going to give me +1 plant production. So now I've got everything 2 or higher except for titanium, which is very nice. I could play the background detonation if I wanted to. I wouldn't be able to use it, so there's really no point, which means I've done everything I'm going to do here in Generation 5, so income and get ready for the next round. Alright, so into Generation 6, got some really good production going, and now it is time for the draft. In my pile, I've got a big asteroid, which is definitely appealing to me, and I'm thinking of taking. There is also a Venus card, which Marsbot would keep, but it's not particular. I could play it, and it'd give me the Venus tag, but it doesn't really do much for me. Then we got a couple of other cards, which just are not that interesting, so not too worried about it. Although, 4 energy production, if I could manage to get that funded. So, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take the giant asteroid. Not to mention that's another 20 plus card that would help out on celebrity, so we'll keep that away. Marsbot in their stack, no Venus tags, but 2 Jovian tags, which is its second priority, so it's going to be odd or even. It's going to draft one of those. Odd, so it's getting a 20-point card anyway. But now these come over to me. So methane from Titan, which would be pretty good. But I just got a big one, that and the asteroid. Of course, it's going to draft it if I don't, which is going to give it another bump on the celebrity track. Otherwise, hard to say. I think I actually am, though, leaning towards drafting this, in part because it's a very good card. But also, it gives me something to spend steel on. And if I want to have a shot of having them, Marsbot, declare industrialist, I will need to find a way to send that seal. So that is the one that I'm going to draft. Marsbot, first, we'll just finish up from their pile of 3 here, is going to take the Venus tag. Then from this pile, we'll just go ahead. And we already know that they're going to take that one because it's got the Jovian, which means that's coming back to me. From here, I'll just deprive them of the extra symbols. So that is there, and not really interested in heat production, so I'm not going to keep that. Do like the asteroid, definitely this. Now this is interesting, whether or not I want to hang on to the quantum extractor. It's an, yeah, okay, so I had that wrong. AI Central actually costs me energy. This gives me 4 energy. I will have 4 science tags pretty soon. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to hold on to all 3. I think these could all potentially go towards a good strategy together. I'm less sure about the quantum extractor, but because it's not worth any points on its own, but the 4 energy would definitely help if we're talking about potentially getting industrialist, as long as I don't play it too soon. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead, and I'll just keep 3. I have a lot of money. So that is the one thing that has not been at all an issue this game. So now, for Marsbot, this is going to get shuffled in, as well as one of these bonus cards. Right, we did have to dig into the bonus pile at one point, so it'll actually, by Generation 7, will have depleted its bonus pile and get to reshuffle. Alright, so now, for Marsbot, who is going first this round, and again, it is going to spend 5 floaters, so it gets to keep all its cards. One more shuffle, it will start with Jovian and Space. So the Jovian tag is going to give it a forest, and I am just getting murdered. Yeah, that's rough. I was hoping maybe I could play a forest there, but it does touch its city, and then 3 lake tiles. So it gets a bump here, gets a bump here. It's going to gain 6 here. That is very rough, and now it's almost certainly... I think it's so far ahead on the state dealer, so that if it gets to do a milestone, that's almost certainly what it's going to be. Meanwhile, it's going to bump up 1 on the space track, which is going to be a temperature increase. And that helps it with celebrity. So, just all around a very good play for Marsbot, bringing it back to me. So, you know, I am almost at a position now. There's only 1 award coming up, so it just... I didn't give it any events, so I'm probably safe. I don't have to worry about that just yet. I can focus on the cards in my hand. Boy, do I have a lot of science tags. And it's just... I have to figure out, I think the first thing I probably want to do is spend down that steel, but it's a lot to think about. A lot of money to spend, so I'm going to do some math and figure it out. Alright, so I think this is a situation where probably we'll end up slow playing. Again, I don't think it's probably not going to fund an award this turn, so I actually might be in a position where I might decide that at the start of Generation 7, just right off the bat, I go first. I might just fund the last 2 awards and put out 34. But in the meantime, I'm going to build things up. I'm going to go ahead and get some more science tags. Spend 11 for this guy, which is going to get me 2 cards, 2 more science tags, and a victory point. Let's see what I've got. First card drawn is very blurry. Oh, an Earth tag. I haven't seen one of those in a while. I have to remember that those cost me 6 less. A lake, 2 cards, 5 plants, 2 victory points. Very expensive, but a lot of good stuff. So that undoubtedly will get played. The other card I've drawn, next pause, I'll see if I can fix this. That's a little bit better. Martian Survey. It's just an event, just a couple cards. Almost at the point where it can't be played, or is that max 4%? Have we already passed the point? Yes. Can't even play Martian Survey, so that'll be a card I sell off. Alright, so just the 1 play. Let's see what Marsbot has next. Lobbyists. So it's looking to gain a bonus if it can. Temperature track within 1 or 2. It's not. Oxygen track within 1 or 2. Thankfully, it's not. Venus track, no. So Marsbot raises oxygen 1 step, places an ocean, or raises temperature, whichever is farthest from being complete. So oxygen is 9 away. temperature 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it will raise the temperature 1 track and gain a bonus. And this is not destroyed. So back to me. Just again at this point, taking it slow. I'll just throw token here. Marsbot is going to get a Jovian tag and a space tag. The Jovian tag is going to bounce it here on the power energy track, which is going to give it another jump. And then the space tag does not do anything yet. Okay. So that is that card. That gives it another advantage. Gives it another advantage on celebrity, as well as another bump on industrialist. And I've got off camera here. I'm kind of keeping track of the differences, so I don't have to keep recalculating. All right, back to me. Again, just taking it very slowly. We will throw another floater on here. Marsbot. All right, government intervention. We are in an even round, so whichever is furthest from completion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, still 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not that. So it is at this point going to be a bump on the oxygen track. So there is the government intervention. Back to me. Again, no reason not to. Well, I can throw on any card. Yeah, I think it's still probably worthwhile to go on here again, because then I'll be able to do this again next round as well as this round. Then I might pivot and start putting it on my victory point card. All right, so that's just my one play. Now back to Marsbot is a building tag, which is yet another bump on the temperature track. All right, and it's got, Marsbot just has one card left. So I'll just go ahead now, spend these two to go ahead and bump the Venus track, which will give me a terraforming rating. And finally, for Marsbot, it is going to go on the Venus track, which is also going to bump Venus. So he gets a bonus, and I'll just keep track also that he is now ahead of me by 1 on the Venus track. So now, again, kind of unencumbered. I can do what I want to do, not have to worry about Marsbot. So I think I will go ahead and spend 8 to bump the temperature. And then, so I do have the big asteroid, which I've kind of got 20, which will cost me 27, actually 24. So I can afford to play that. But I think before I do that, let's get a few more cards and get another sense of what's going on. So I am going to play AI Central. I do now have enough. I do now have the 3 tags I need, science tags. Cost me 21. It's got a building tag, so I'll spend 5 steel. That's 10. I need 11 more, which I've set aside here. And that is going to lower me 1 on the energy track, which is okay for now. And then I'll go ahead and activate that to draw 2 more cards. So that is a card with a colony ship, so we're not going to use that. All right, we've got fuel generator, which, I mean, it'll get my energy back up. It's very cheap, so play it for 1 or for free. And then the other card I've drawn is, oh, interesting, Equatorial Magnetism, which potentially allow me to trade energy production for terraforming rating. So I think obviously I've got this large convoy, which is really nice, but the thing to do now is definitely to play the big asteroid, which is going to cost me 27. So I'll spend, actually, yes, I have not yet played the Quantum Extractor. I could play that first, but then I wouldn't have enough, but that cost me 13. I would not have enough money. So I'll forgo getting the discount. I've paid for 3. I need an additional 24. So there's 25. Get 1 back. Plays the big asteroid. I get 2 temperature bumps, which triggers playing a lake, which will give me, not there, another bump here. The lake, which do I want more, a plant or money? I think at this point, I think money is more valuable, not to mention that just becomes another juicy spot for MarsBot. So take 4 cash, mega credits, and continue on. I get 4 titanium, and then MarsBot loses 4 plants. So who knows? That may end up costing it a victory point in the end. Does not help me for celebrity, unfortunately, but we'll put that in the event pile. Now, I think we are all set, all good to get ready for Generation 7. All right, so here we go into the draft, starting with me, and a couple interesting, run-of-the-mill asteroid, a couple other cards not too interested in, but trees is great to come up now, give me a little bit of plant production down the home stretch, so I am definitely going to grab that. And again, I don't mind necessarily. I did calculate all of the awards. If MarsBot does fund an award right now, it would be Industrialist, which I should be careful of what I'm at, I get what I'm asking for, because I will have to plan accordingly to make sure that I can actually win it. But from MarsBot's standpoint, looking at its cards, it's going to keep the Venus tag. That is its priority. Coming back to me, I really like this urbanized area is actually great because I could put it right here. It's not touching a lot of forests, but it does effectively worth an extra point blocking that. That is definitely the one I'm going to take. So that's my pick for MarsBot. No Venus, no Jovian. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2. Okay. Switching this back to me. So now from here, I'll just go ahead and take the double bounce, get the asteroid anyway, which I don't even know that I'd play because this is almost running out. That's going to go to MarsBot, then MarsBot, odd or even. So that was fortunate. That one's going to come back to me. All right. So definitely not going to play that. No reason to hold the asteroid. If I really wanted to, I could just do a standard project for 14. Really like the city. Definitely want to keep trees. So I will spend 6 to keep 2 cards. From MarsBot's standpoint, it's got its 4 cards. It does have just enough floaters that it doesn't have to get rid of anything. It's going to keep all 4. It's going to shuffle these 2 into the mix. Okay, so I don't really think it's worth funding the award now. Like we said, as things stand, and I think I'm better off taking steps to make sure it goes for an Industrialist. And if that means then I end up having to pay 20 to do the last one, that's fine. So what I am going to do first is I am going to play the large convoy. So again, I have the Earth tag, so it's going to cost me a little bit less. It's only going to cost me 30. There is 15 in titanium and another 15 in mega credits. That is going to let me place a lake. we're running low on those, which is one of the reasons. And even though it's a juicy spot for MarsBot, I think the extra money and the plants is going to be worthwhile. So I will put it there. I will collect 4 money and a plant and a bump. On the terraforming track, I get to draw 2 cards, which, well, it's a last opportunity to play a lake, as well as, well, that's pretty good. Another way to, well, not that I'm going to be looking to burn steel anymore, but another option there. So a couple pretty good cards, and last but not least, I am going to get 5 plants. So yeah, so now in terms of the next play, it's not imminently getting another lake. It's 2 away on the space track, so I think I can probably afford to wait on this card. What I do want to do is burn some of that steel just in case some wonky thing happens. So I'm going to spend all my steel. That's going to cost me 6, and again, I'm going to be playing the urbanized area, so I'm going to need an additional 4 to pay for the rest of that. It's going to lower my energy production down to 0, another 2 bumps on my mega credit production, and I get to place a city that must be adjacent to 2 other cities, just 1 spot for that. That is going to be over here, which is going to give me another plant and do a little bit more work on that, surrounding that. I don't know that I'm going to get much more done there. But let me grab my plant tag, or plant resource, I should say. And those are 2 actions. Much as I'd love to keep going, I do have to let MarsBot take a turn. So MarsBot is just going to gain 5 mega credits and a floater, or 5 resources, however you want to put it. Okay, so back to me. A lot of options, and I'm not really sure, so let's give ourselves some more options and draw 2 cards. First one is going to be a Venus card, which not very useful unless I wanted to get another Venus tag in play. Then the next one is Space Hotels, which will only cost me 6 to get into play, which is nice, but it doesn't actually do much for me at this point. All right, so those 2 extra cards didn't really change anything. I think I'm going to go ahead, do the Permafrost Extractor just to get this done. I'll take the extra plant tag. I think that's worth it. Or the plant resource, I should say. Actually, no. You know what? I'd rather... because it leaves me just a little bit short. I'm at 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm not going to be able to play 2 forests this round. Regardless of where I place. Because again, I can't just randomly place a forest over here. It has to be connected to something I control. So unless I'm going to put a city down. So yeah, I think I'm just going to put that there. I'll take the extra production and hope that I don't get burned by being short 1. We'll go ahead and we'll do that. For better or for worse, the lake is going to give me a bump here. Those are 2 actions. So I'm done. MarsBot is going to go. It's got a Venus tag, which is just going to bump it to no effect on the Venus track. Sending it back over to me. Now, at this point, MarsBot is not far away from playing a city. So, kind of interesting thought here. If MarsBot were to play a city right now, it would be either here or here. Because it wants to touch a greenery, and I think those are the only spots. So, that does kind of bring it down. advancing on the estate dealer a bit, which I don't love. Definitely don't want to play my forest yet because I'm hoping that'll get bumped one more time. So I actually do think at this point I'm not eager to beat it in anything. So I am just going to slow play. I will use this to put another counter here. We'll see what Marsbot has for its next action is Expedited Construction. If a city tile can be adjacent to 2 or more greenery or ocean tiles. So it is going to place a city. It can do adjacent to 2 oceans. In which case it would either be here or here. So it will, this one, I didn't even notice the 2 steel there. That might have been a good place to put a greenery just to get the steel. And then it would have put its city up here, but as it is, Marsbot is going to get its city here, giving it 2, 4, 6 on its bonus. And this will be destroyed, so that is out. Back to me. I'll go ahead and bump the Venus track. Narrowing the gap there. Okay, it is an energy tag, which is a double bump, which is a milestone. Those are all taken. So it's going to get 5 here and a floater. Sending it back to me, continuing to take our time. We will throw a token down here. Marsbot will go with a Jovian tag, which is going to give it 3 on this track. And Spaced Out, which is going to give it 4. And all of a sudden, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is now ahead of me on that track by 8. It's still ahead of me by 9. Actually, even more. 7 plus 5, 12 versus my 1. So it's ahead of me by 11 on the energy track. I should make sure that I actually can close the gap. I mean, it's just a matter at that point of hoarding steel, right? All right, so again, I don't think it has an event, so it's not like it's going to fund anything. So I will continue to just slow play, let Marsbot finish out. With government intervention, we are in an odd round. So, and Venus is not complete yet, so it will just bump Venus once, gaining no benefit from that. And now I've got my 45, 46, 47. I got 48 to spend. Don't have to worry about any intervention from Marsbot. So it'd be a good time to figure out what I want to do. And it might involve a standard project of placing a granary now that I think about it, but let me look over the options. So here is where I have landed after much consideration, a lot of planning. Imminently, it's looking to place a city, not a forest. So what I'm going to do, first and foremost, I'm going to play this guy. So it's going to cost me 22, but it is going to give me the lead on the celebrity track. And it's going to do a few more things than that. So let me spend 22 to play the aeroscope. And that is, I'm going to take 2 bumps on the temperature track. That's going to put me up by 1 on that. I'm also going to get 2 floaters, which I think I'm going to go ahead and put here so that I'll be able to do this Venus bump one more time next round. And then, having done that, for my second action, I'm going to spend, it doesn't matter, many actions as I want, but I'm going to go ahead and spend 14. And I am going to go ahead and fund celebrity. I'm generating a lot of income. I have a pretty good amount of control over how things go in the draft, so I should be, not to mention the ability to draw cards. So I feel pretty good of my chances of being able to hold that. I'm also, at this point, I think the game's going to be over in Generation 9. So these tracks are almost done, and this is going to start to accelerate pretty quickly, especially when it's the only thing left for world government to work on. So, continuing on, I do want to get some plant production up. So I'm going to play trees, which normally would cost me 13. But I'm going to spend a couple of floaters off of here, or microbes off of here, for 2 each. So that's 4, so it's only going to cost me 9. That is going to give me 1 plant. More importantly, 3 plant production. Then I will go ahead and spend 8. I was debating not doing this, but I'm just kind of looking where MarsBot might end up putting a city. I'd rather keep it up there away from me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this here. I'm doing it for a few reasons. I do eventually want to go here for the placement bonus, probably here as well, but I don't want to make any of this too enticing for MarsBot. So by going here, not to mention I'll get a couple more plants. I'm going to raise. Now there is a risk here, but not really, and I'll explain it as I jump up here as well. And I will gain 2 plants. So by pushing up the temperature here, if I draw the bonus card that has it close out a track or get a bonus, I believe it will do heat first, the temperature track. So I could be wrong about that, but I'll double check it. If it comes up, this again, only if it's the first card that MarsBot draws, 1 in 6 shot. There's not, it's a couple of spaces away from forest on a couple tracks, so I'm banking and hoping that I will be able to get that. And if I get really lucky and it doesn't get the double bump, then I'll also be able to get a bonus here. So we'll see how it works out. I've got 3 left. Yeah, there were a couple other ways I could have done it. I'm not going to play anything else. Still not ready to up my energy production. I mean, I may not even be able to bump the heat anymore. We'll have to see how things work out. But that is going to be the end of the generation. Do income and get ready for generation number 8. All right. Not an optimal draft for me. Let's look at how things are going to go. But for these 4 cards, there is a Venus tag. What I think I'm going to do here, I definitely don't want it getting triple. So I'm going to draft this. And we can kind of just resolve this all at once very quickly because there's not going to be any mystery here. I'm going to draft this card. MarsBot giving these choices is going to go ahead and want the Venus tag. They're going to come back to me. I'm going to take the Earth tag and send it back, the event tag. So that's for that pile. Now for here, MarsBot is going to go first. It does have 2 Venus cards. Unfortunately, one costs 20, which would tie things up with celebrity. So I'm going to hopefully have to go card digging for another 20 pointer if it gets that, but maybe it won't get it. Let's see. Odd, even. Odd. So it's drafting that one. So obviously I will take that. Then it's going to go back to MarsBot. Odd. It's going to grab that. I will grab that. And then I just need to decide which of these I want to keep. So, well, definitely the 20 pointer. This would have been really good earlier on. Not so it's free for me to play, but it does cost 3 to keep. So at this point, and I don't have any events, I don't think. I have 1 event that I can't play. Yeah, so I'm not going to keep that. Would extra plant production make the difference? I'd also get to knock it down 1 on this track. Not a big deal. this is interesting too, being able to place a tile. So, so I'm going to take a moment to kind of look this through and figure out if I want to keep either or both of these. Yeah, I have very few cards in my hand that I plan on playing, and they're not that expensive, so I am going to go ahead and keep all three of these at a cost of 9. So that's it for me. Now for Marsbot, they actually only have, should have given them one more. They've got 3 floaters, but they are going to discard one of these cards. So let's see which that's going to be. It is going to be not that one. It wants to keep the Venus tag, so it's just going to discard the card with no tag. All right. It's going to shuffle this in, and then we will shuffle up the bonus deck, and this is going to be pretty pivotal, as this is the card that could screw me a bit. Potentially, we'll have to see how things go. Okay. Let's roll to determine what card is going to be the top card. 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 will be the top card of its deck. So let's find out what Marsbot is going to lead off with. And it is going to raise. Let's see. We are in an even. All right. Yeah. I forgot that was one that could cost me. It is going to raise the oxygen. So I'm going to lose out on that bump. So hopefully not too costly a mistake. I feel like getting this into play, this guy was the better play. We'll see. So at least now I don't have to worry about rushing that. So it's really just a question of what other areas. Maybe I finish off this track, which is something I believe I can do. All right, I'm going to look over my hand. And Marsbot does have the ability to draw that card to let it finish that track and get 2 bumps, so I think I'll be just a little aggressive. I'll spend 8 here to bump that, and then I'll go ahead and as a standard project, I will spend 14 to bump it again. So that's going to give me 2 bumps on that track. And let's see what Marsbot is going to do. Advancing on the Venus track is going to give it a couple of floaters. So next turn it will be able to keep that extra card, most likely. Back to me. At this point, I'll go ahead and bump the Venus track, maybe, because actually no, if it draws that, I actually don't want to do that yet, because I don't want it to finish off the Venus track necessarily. Yeah, at this point I think I'm first going to draw a couple cards, see what we get. A greenhouse, well, that's really nice. Gain 1 plant for each city in play, so that is going to be huge. That's effectively 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's going to be even more than that. That's basically almost free greenery tile. And my second card draw is Decomposers. So a little bit late for that. Probably going to be pitching that. That was one action. Yeah, at this point, I think I'd rather see what Marsbot is going to do. There's nothing I'm trying to outrush it for anymore. As things stand right now, it would still fund the industrialist. So let's see what happens. Corporate competition. All right, so Marsbot is going to be resolving the closest funded award action that it's behind on. So Celebrity or Desert Settler, it's going to be Celebrity, so it's going to get another 20 plus card, which is unfortunate. Just go from the deck until we get one. Soletta. All right, so now we are tied on that track. It will pay for that. Back to me. I will throw a tag, a microbe on here. Let Marsbot go. Marsbot is going to do a Venus tag, which is going to bump this one. And then it's going to do a plant tag. No longer so worried about it putting greeneries on the board, now that this is not as desirable. So continuing to slow play, tag here, back to Marsbot's final card, is an event, and finally it has happened. Marsbot is going to fund an award. So, unsuspecting, Marsbot is looking at 12 for the Industrialist. I'll just double check that. Industrialist is the energy track +5. It's looking at 12 versus my 3. So it's ahead by 9 on the Industrialist. On the Estate Dealer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 versus my 1. It's ahead by 6. And on the Benefactor, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the Venus track, it has jumped a bit. It's 8 on the Venus track, but I am at 4, so it's ahead by 4 there. So Marsbot thinks it has me dead to rights as an industrialist, so it is going to fund that. Thank you very much, Marsbot. And Marsbot is now done, which frees me up to do everything I want to do. So let's start with the easy stuff first. Let's raise Venus 1. I've done all these, and I do have a bunch of cards I want to play. Would rather not spend any more of this, because I want to make sure I can do that. I need to build up my energy. So, as always, I'm going to take some time to do all the calculations. A lot of junk at this point, but some very important decisions to be made. It'll be interesting to see how the draft goes. For my part, there's 2 cards that interest me. This one just because it's basically free money. And then this guy is the card I'm going to draft. This pretty much guarantees that I'm going to win Thermalist and even be able to probably spend some of my steel, because this will give me, as it stands right now, 8 production on energy, on power. So I will draft that, and then we'll see what Marsbot ends up with. For Marsbot, no Venus, no Jovian. Really like this commercial district. So, but I think given a choice between the two, I'd have to draft this 31-point card to prevent it from getting it. But it's got a chance to get it on its own right now. We'll shuffle these up. I still have not grabbed my 4-sided die, so we will re-roll a 6. It's a 2. And did it get... Yeah, it drafted the 31-point card, so it's going to be tight. I will go ahead then and draft this guy. Coming back over here. Again, I already drafted from here, so... Marsbot is going to take one of these at random. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So passing these 2 back to me. I will deny it double. Give it that. From Marsbot's standpoint, odd, even. Odd. It's going to take that. Sending that back to me. Obviously, I have no use for a lake. No use for a temperature bump. This is definitely points, and this is very good. So I will keep these 2 for a cost of 6. Sending out 11 and taking 5 back. From Marsbot's standpoint, it's going to keep everything because it does have enough floaters. It'll draw a bonus card as well as government, which is going to be this track. And now we will see how things go. I do get to go first this generation, although I may want things to slow down a bit. So, as per usual, I think just the very first thing I'm going to do, again, I'm not in a rush to close off any of these tracks. I'd rather it not get a 2 bump there. So I'm going to go ahead, draw 2 cards, and hope that I get something that costs 20 or more. Nope. And don't really want to lower print production. And no. So that is unfortunate. I've got this huge pile of cards. None of them cost 20 or more. Not sure I have any other ways of drawing more cards except to place on the board. So that might be an avenue I take. Having taken the 1 action, I think I will hold back. Oh, by the way, I forgot that to pay 1 less for this. So that came after I played the card that gives me the reduction. All right, Marsbot. Let's see what you got. A building or a science tag and a building tag. We'll do the science first, which is going to attempt to fund a milestone. It cannot. It is going to be racking up points at this point. And then on the building track, again, trying to fund a milestone. It cannot. All right. That was that. Back to me. I will just, there's no benefit to it, but I'll just add a floater here. Marsbot will then get an Earth tag, which does nothing yet. Then an event, which also does nothing yet. That goes in the discard pile. I will add a floater here, getting me up to 8. Marsbot. Marsbot is government intervention, so only 1 track left. So it'll do that one. Okay, once again, back to me. Put a floater on any card. That is going to be over here. Back to Marsbot. The Moho Lake, which is going to tie us on the awards, and I'm pretty sure that Marsbot wins ties on these. Or it wins ties at the end of the game. I'm actually not sure how it works for the awards. Maybe just nobody gets the points. I'll have to double check. But in the meantime, so that is just a building tag, which is going to be a granary tile. Okay, so that's going to bump this up to 11, bump it up here. And where will put the granary tile? Well, it's going to want to be next to a city, and then I believe next to a lake. Cannot be next to 2 cities. All right, adjacent to the most of its own cities, but not mine. So it doesn't really want to go there. It would either go, here is going to be adjacent to 3 lakes. So I think that is its best bet. So it's going to grab 6 credits for that. So we'll just give it 7 and pull 1 back because those 2 are stuck together. And then it is going to be back to me. Maybe I should not have been. Well, it's still in a position, so I'm going to jump 1 more time. Yeah, maybe I should have been. But I don't have that many ways of increasing the oxygen. I'm definitely going to want to run it out. Probably, actually, not necessarily. Because I'll go ahead and throw a token here. It's not going to get any more points for going another generation. It really depends on how these tracks look, but if it's the difference between me potentially getting celebrity, But it's got 2 more actions, so let's see what else Marsbot is going to do. Ooh, yeah, that was an oversight on my part. Looks like we are going to be going another round. I had been thinking before about the meteor shower. I forgot about it, so I am going to lose 5 plants. So that was a pretty big mistake on my part to forget about that. Back to me. Just going to sell off a card that's impossible to play. Marsbot will draw its last card, which has nothing. So it's going to grab another 5 and yet another floater. So really now I have to check how it works at the end of the game on these and see. Actually, yeah, having lost those plants, I guess I could do standard projects. I think I'm probably just gonna let it go one more round and see how things go. Oh, it's 1 away from a big 5-point jump there. All right, well, as per usual, I'm gonna study things over. You know what? I'm going to let things go one more generation rather than blow everything. I think I'm in really good position, and I want a shot at winning all 6 of these. That would be quite the feat. So I am going to play some cards, just kind of stuff to help with some production. I will spend 15 for the energy savings, which will give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 production on this track, going from 0 to 8. I will play the Equatorial Magnetizer. My zoom is not working, but I will play that for 11. Slide that in over here. Actually, it's going to cost 1 less. It's only going to cost 10. And the other one also should have cost 1 less, so let me take the money back there. I will then activate it, lowering my energy to increase my terraforming rating. I will play... actually, there's no reason to play this now. I'll play it next turn. I will play the Commercial District for 16. 15 with my discount. Again, I'm holding on to my steel. I got plenty more cards with building tags to spend steel on if it works out that way. This is going to allow me to place the Commercial District and get victory points for every cities it's touching. So let me grab that tile. All right, the Commercial District I will play here, which will give me 2 mega credits and 1 plant. And that will lower me down by 1 here, but give me a 4 bump on the mega credit production track from 22 to 26. And that is, I think, all of the cards I'm going to play for now. So I'm actually ending the round with a big pile of money. So let's get ready for Generation 10. Okay, starting with my draft. No 20-point cards, so there's another huge bump in energy production. So I will go ahead and grab this just to avoid it from getting the double tag. Then once Marsbot gets it, we'll just go through this pile. Marsbot is going to draft 1 at random. 6 is going to be that. Coming back to me, again, I would take the double tag, giving that to Marsbot. Over here, Marsbot did find a Venus card it wants. Enjoy. Again, it is going to take Venus over Jovian. So now I will take the Jovian, which is a 30-plus point card. Then odd or even. Odd. And that goes to me. Marsbot does have exactly 5 floaters, so they will keep all of their cards. But do not believe they didn't get any events, and they did not get any 30-point cards. Still possible. There is a bonus card that lets it draw off the project deck. So we'll have to see. From my standpoint, no need to keep that. Definitely going to keep the card that is going to lock up Celebrity for me. Don't need some minor production here. I'm not even sure I need this, but because I still have a lot more production. But there is a benefit to me getting science tags from one of the cards in my hand, so I will keep that. So I'm spending 6. God, I have a lot of money. Okay, adding these to my hand. Marsbot is going to go first. So in this case, it is... Oh, it did get an event. All right, so Venus is going to advance on the microbe track. Ooh, it's got a lot of stuff going on. I still think it was worth doing this other round. So it is going to place one of these next to a city. Cannot place it next to 2 cities, so then it's going to want to be next to lakes. It can go 2 lakes here, 2 lakes here, same number of bonuses, so odd or even. That is going to be odd. Wondering if there's... I don't think any of the other tiebreakers take effect. So odd is going to go up here, which is going to give it 2, 4, 5. It is going to raise the oxygen level. That was the Venus tag. Then the event tag is going to raise it 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I just gave back the 5 points I got for taking Celebrity. Maybe not the best choice, but so much I can do at this point. Yeah, I think I just need to go ahead, spend some plants to get a granary, and I will put this here, which will generate steel for me. And then just to make sure that I get that last bump and it doesn't, I will go ahead and spend 23 for a standard project. Certainly have the ability to get more plants. Probably should have done that in advance. It's getting a bit late. I've started to make a few mistakes, but I still think I'm going to be okay. Standard project is going to allow me to put down another one of these. So I don't really want to motivate it to play a city. So like if I put this here, it's going to put a city here. So I'll just, and this is effectively worth a point. So I'll put it here. That'll get me another plant tag. Also the final bump here. Okay. So those are my 2 actions. Marsbot is going to go... Yep, it's going to draw and resolve a random project, so it might have all been for naught. Marsbot gets moss. So that is, however, going to give it another granary. Boy. Okay, so the other spot that it eschewed earlier, it will take now, gaining 2, 4, 5. It does not gain any other bonus for that. Okay, back to me. At this point, there is very little to compete on, so let's just slow play it out. Science tag is a temperature bump, but not really. Instead, it's a failed action, so it'll do that. The space tag is a lake, which is another failed action. It is going to get a lot of points this round. Almost wish I had added it before. I guess I could do that off camera. So that is that action. I'm just continuing to take my time. I'll draw 2 cards, get some floaters, and oh look, another 20-point card. That's really good, because that is the Phobos Space Haven, which is also worth 3 victory points. So that will probably come into play. Back to Marsbot, failed action. It is continues to rack this stuff up. Back to me. Put another microbe down. Marsbot will go. And yet another failed action. Wild. Once again, to me, sure, I'll lower this to increase my terraforming rating. Marsbot finishing off. Government. There is nothing to be done. Yeah, everything is maxed out, so this is just ignored. Marsbot is officially and finally done. There's no benefit to it, but just for the sake of completeness, I'll put a tag here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's play cards. Yeah, of the 2 20s I got, this is definitely the better one. So it's going to cost me 24, remembering my discount. So 3, 6, 9. Actually, I believe there's a card worth playing that reduces space. Yes. So what we're going to do first instead is I'm going to go ahead and put a token on this card. I don't think a floater anywhere else helps me as much. And then I'm going to play Venusian Animals, which cost 15. And so let's spend that first. All right, 15, and I get another one back for my discount. And I was going to spend this to be worth 3, so I actually get 4 back. So it actually only cost me 11 to play. Well, it cost 14, but I pay for some of it here. Anytime I play a science tag, it is going to get an animal, so let's put one of those on. And each of those is worth a victory point, which is why I would do that first. Okay, yes. Then I have a science card, which costs me 13. Although it only costs 12. This is the Quantum Extractor. That's going to give me another 4 on that track. It's going to make my space cost 2 less, and it's going to be another Venusian Animal. Rolling right along, we'll play... I have another card that reduces space, but I don't think I'm going to play it. Well, sure, why not? I will play the Mass Converter, which requires 5 science tags, which I'm pretty sure I have at this point. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 7. So the Mass Converter is going to cost me 7 to play. So let's get that into play. That's going to give me another Venusian Animal. Now not to mention another 4 on this track. Going from, I think I might have even miscalculated that. That was 6. Yeah, I produced 5. I've added 10 more, so I'm actually at 15 production there, which is going to free me up to spend all of my metals, my steel, I should say. So now let's go ahead and play the Space Haven, which is going to cost me 24, 3, 6, 24, 22, 20. I'll pay 9 here. It's going to cost me an additional 11. So that is going to give me the Space Haven, which over here, also for good measure, hey, I finally got to at least 2 production on every one of these tracks. That's that. I still have 40 to spend. So let's see. The food factory here, that costs me 12, so I'll just spend 6 steel. Actually, I don't know if I want to do that. It's a victory point, but it costs me a plant. I should see if I need those plants first. Speaking of plants, we'll play the greenhouse, and I'll play it using these. So 2 each for the microbes I removed there. That's going to give me 1 for every city. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plants. So, which gets me up to 14, plus currently the 7 I'm producing is 21. Anyway, I could get 3 more if I could get here somehow. All right, so I'm just flying through. I'll take a quick moment, kind of plan out the rest of this, and then finish it off. Things got a bit ridiculous here in the end game. I can play the Jovian Embassy with 6 steel plus 1, which is going to leave me with 9 back. That's another victory point and a terraforming rating. Then I'll play the food factory, which cost 11, so I'll just play straight up 6 steel for that. Lowering my plant production by 1, increasing this by 4 up to a nice round 30, also worth a victory point. Then the cutting edge technology, which I had in my opening drawer, never got into play. There was just too much other stuff to do, but that cost 11. So we will play that now. It's got a science tag, which will drop another animal. And it's worth a victory point on top of that. So that goes into play. We'll just play the field generators just because we can. It's free. And that is going to increase that by 1. Oh, we're back down to 29. Then we'll get it back up because it's only going to cost me 19. 20 minus the 4 minus 1. So we'll spend 19 to get the Callisto Penal Mine into play, which will give me back 3 more production, up to 32. I've still got 9 left, and I can sell stuff off. Nothing else in here is worth victory points. So I could put a floater on any card. So I guess if I had planned out a little more carefully, I could have gotten that up 1 more. But otherwise, don't really think it makes a difference. Can't raise Venus. Space hotels I could play just for the production. I would need 3 tags on here. I guess, again, I could have played decomposers, done things in a different order. But again, I don't really think it matters. I think I'm good. I think I am good. So let us go ahead and do the endgame tally. First up, actually, no, we'll do, I forgot to do this. So I do have enough plants to put another greenery down. And I think in this case, certainly want to be next to a city is my best bet. So I will put it down here, grab 1 more of these just for good measure. Then we will go into final production. What matters most here is that I am going to produce my 16 energy. I'm going to produce 3 up there, ensuring that I get industrialist. I'm going to produce a ridiculous amount of money that I'm not even going to bother to count. I am going to get 6 plants. So I'm at 12. Looking at Marsbot, is it 1 away from greenery on any tile. It is not, so I will just spend these for one final greenery, which I guess I will put... I could have done this before. Put this here and draw a card. It's not worth any points, so I'll put it next to a city. That makes more sense. All right. Now we are ready to do the final scoring. So we will start the generalist, specialist, and the floaters. So that's 15, putting me up to 69. The celebrity, again, I just have a lot of cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cards. And then in Marsbot's pile, I believe it's 5 at this point, including events. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, did I miscount somewhere? Pretty sure I guess it did play all these cards. I must have missed something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. One more time. We'll just put them to the top. 31, 35. That's 2. 28. That's 3. 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So, wow. I did miss one earlier, I guess. But I had 8, so I do manage to take Celebrity, Industrialist. Again, they are at 12. I'm at 16. I'm at 20. And Desert Settler, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to 0. So, that is another 15 points for me there. So now, Forests, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not that one. In fact, I'm just going to take this off the board so it doesn't confuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Puts me up to 91. Marsbot, not a lot this game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then cities. This one is worth 1, 2, 3. This one is worth 4, 5, 6, 7. This one is worth 8, 9. Those are my cities, putting me up to an even 100. For Marsbot, just 1 for this city, 2 for this, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Wow, this was a good old-fashioned drubbing of Marsbot. All right. Then, for the end game with Prelude, I will double-check for Generation 10, it is 1 victory point for every 8. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 5, 6, 7, 8, 108. So divided by 8 is going to be 23 and change. Nope, 13 and change. So another 13 points for Marsbot, and now this is ridiculous. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 14, 13, 12, back down, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 23 additional points for me. So, we will have to check over the video again, see if I did everything right. But if I did, then 123 to 83, that is pretty insane. Easily the most effective game of Terraforming Mars I've played, either solo or against the Automa. I don't know if Venus Next is just easier or if I just had a really good setup, but I'm not complaining. Made some minor mistakes. Should have had one more greenery tile in play if I had thought that through. and probably a couple other things here and there. But again, can't complain or argue with the results. One other thing I'll add, just double checked, hard mode. Marsbot gets every point with victory points on it. It gets 1 victory point for those. So if I played on hard mode, Marsbot would have gotten an additional 13 up to 96. The other part of hard mode is as soon as Marbot, at the start of the generation, if Marsbot qualifies for a milestone and has 8 resources, it will lock down that milestone. Again, I'll have to check when I go back through the video, but I don't think Marsbot ever had the chance. I was very quick at jumping on these. But just out of curiosity, I will go back. And again, even then, if Marsbot had managed to get all of these milestones from me, well, I guess I would have had to hold on to one of them. But in any way, there you go. Not only did I win, I think I won pretty convincingly on hard mode. I hope I got everything right. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to know when I'm putting more videos out, go ahead and subscribe. I'll probably continue this Terraforming Mars journey, maybe try colonies next, and then turmoil, and maybe at some point I'll do something crazy and try everything together. But until then, as always, thanks for watching.